We have dramatic new developments in the U.S. relationship with Cuba. Sources tell CBS News the U.S. is moving to file criminal charges against former President Raúl Castro over a deadly clash 30 years ago. This follows an extraordinary visit to Cuba on Thursday by CIA Director John Ratcliffe and new protests by Cubans over power cuts and fuel shortages. Nicole Sganga is following all this for us. Nicole, good morning.
Vlad, good morning. President Trump has pressed for major reforms in Cuba, even floating a, quote, friendly takeover. But a potential U.S. indictment of former Cuban leader Raúl Castro would mark a serious escalation with rippling implications for Havana, U.S. allies, and global adversaries.
3 decades after 2 civilian planes were shot down by Cuba, the Justice Department is taking steps to indict former Cuban President Raúl Castro in connection to the deadly incident, according to U.S. officials familiar with the matter. The planes, operated by a Miami-based humanitarian group, were struck down by Cuban fighter jets over international waters back in 1996. 3 Americans and a U.S. resident were killed. Cuban officials have argued the shoot-down was legitimate, claiming the planes violated its airspace. At 94, Raúl Castro is widely considered the most powerful person in Cuba, even though he stepped down as the leader of its Communist Party in 2021. CIA Director John Ratcliffe met with his grandson, who's viewed as his representative, yesterday. He shared Trump's message that the U.S. is, quote, prepared to seriously engage on economic and security issues, but only if Cuba makes fundamental changes.
Cuba is not doing well. It's a failed nation.
A potential indictment comes as the U.S. increases pressure on Havana. The Trump administration has threatened heavy tariffs on any country that exports oil to Cuba, leading to energy shortages as oil shipments are largely cut off. Rare protests have erupted across Cuba as frustration over fuel shortages and power blackouts grows.
The Trump administration sees this as the best opportunity to effectuate regime change.
Mark Caputo is a CBS News contributor.
The problem that all of us have is understanding how power really works in Cuba, who's really calling the shots. And so it's difficult to understand the degree to which an indictment of Raúl Castro would change the way in which the United States sort of interfaces with whomever they're talking to in Cuba.
While the indictment could be used as a pressure point in ongoing negotiations with Cuba, it could also make Cuban officials less willing to engage. The potential indictment would need to be approved by a grand jury first. A Justice Department spokesperson declined to comment. Matt?
All right, Nicole, thank you very much.